Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's a TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. Let's get rolling along here. Let's make sure we have some sound. We'll double check all of the systems. If I can figure out which mouse it is. There it is. Move that over to there. There we go. And you should be seeing, what should you be seeing? You should be seeing the Swiss. The Swiss is kind of moving up. Nothing major. I mean, the world markets, when you look at the stock indices or you look at the currencies and so forth, it seems like we're still stalled out in whatever montage of crazy that's going on. In other words, the strange invasion of Ukraine and just all that type of stuff going on at the moment. I mean, that's what. Oh, good. I hear the sound. So we're there. That's fine. All right. So let's lower that volume. There we are. So I can hear that. That's good. Yeah. So basically, what it really. You're not seeing the pictures. That's the issue. So what I got to do? I got to move these down and not up. That's what it is. Okay, so somehow or another I've inversed it all. So let's see how we do that. We minimize that, move that up top like so. Nope, whoa, that's not good. There we are. Now I can see that. All right, then we move that down. There we are. Like so. There it is right there. Now you can start to see things. Is that it? No. No. Yeah, and then that one there. There we are. Where are you? Let's minimize that again. It must be up top. There we are. Now let's move it down. There we go. Put that back up. And then I move this over like so. Now you have a fuller picture of what we're talking about here. And move that over a little bit more like so. There we are. And as you can see here, the Swiss has been moving up. Nothing major. And let's widen this out a little bit here. Ooh, that's too wide. That's too wide. And you can see there the Swiss. Is that the right one? Let me just double check. Let me just put my arrow on that. Yeah, that's it. So you can see right there. Let's widen that out more. There we are. Now you can see it. You can see that the Swiss has moved back up again. And I guess I'm not even sure if it's flight to safety or just interest rates and inflation and so forth. World stock markets, I saw European markets, the European equities, they were very firm. United States ones were just up. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I mean, the Dow was only up like 40 or 50 points. When you look across the combination of it all, the The S&P 500 is what is that? It's down about 5% for the year, which is not that bad when you think about we're on the edge of nuclear war at times. I mean, the Russians keep on posturing like that's what they want to, that's their last resort of survival. The ones that invaded everybody, it's the last resort of survival. Yeah, Mr. Putin's worth a couple $100 billion, and somehow or another he's worried about where he gets his next meal. It's very confusing there. So when I see the Swiss move up like that and the dollar, that means the dollar is getting stronger. The Swiss is getting weaker. It kind of seems like we're really out of whack when it comes to our reality to the financial markets in general. It really does. They do have that look like it's being run by, I don't know, primitive type of thought on some levels. Now the Nasdaq 100, or what Dukascopy refers to as the Tech 100, and that is the official name across the world. But we, in the States here, we just call it the NAS 100 or NQs or QQQ, that type of thing. It's down almost 10% for the year, solely because it's very interest sensitive. So interest rates are moving up. Of course, it should have problems, whereas the S&P 500 is down about 4% for the year, maybe a little bit more than that. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down like around 5% for the year. But overall, that's not bad when, think about how COVID had freaked out the markets 2 years ago in February, March, where it took the market down 50-60%, because of those option naked writers who were trapped to just short until it was over with. So, when I see this, the Swiss situation, you see it on J4X right here, you see that. And then at the same time, you see the Swiss here moving up on Chicago Quant. It's not, what's the words I'm looking for? It's not as dire. We're not seeing, the markets are totally, you would think they'd be totally panicked or something like that. I mean, Mr. Putin's people keep on demanding for, what is it? They want surrender. They want surrender. Yeah, sure. So why negotiate if that's all you want is surrender? In other words, there's not a lot of realistic things going on there, and the Ukrainians are, fighting, beating the Russians 10-1 in the battlefield and so forth, and so it's supposedly between China, Japan, NATO, and Russia. You're talking about some of the biggest armies in the world, and the United States. And then I guess you got Israel with their sophistication. A lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense. So we have to be very impressed that the currencies are not going totally nuts. Gold going through the roof, and the stock markets are crushed 30 or 40%. It is amazing, especially when you have someone on the Russian side constantly saying stuff like, "We will use our nukes if we are desperate." It's like you would think that a 3-day invasion. And it's now the 33rd day. I would think they're pretty desperate at this point, and obviously they're not going to fire nukes. It's crazy. None of it makes any sense for them to even suggest the idea of firing nukes. I mean, I've never seen such odd world play. I mean, it's just it's so off. And then we look at the markets, and you see the prices like this here, the Swiss moving up again. They spiked it up a little bit last night. I guess there must have been some negotiation somewhere or something, or interest rates shifted another way, and the next thing you know is, there they are. They poshed it up, and then now you can see they knocked it down again. That's just odd, but it's still up for the day. You can see that. There's something else missing. There's the lines. Show you the lines there. There we are. Let's move that down. And that's that new indicator. We're going to have somebody Kelly, who came up with it, to explain to us how that exactly does work. So we'll leave it up on the chart there for a couple more days until he shows back up again. When I see Kelly, we'll ask for the explanation more. Let's see. So where do we go from here? Let's check the chat line, see if anybody's in there asking any questions, and I've missed them. No questions at all. Okay, fine. All right, from there, and as I said, you can see that the dollar seems to be moving up again, which I just don't have any confidence that they're doing anything but trading in a range. That's all it really says to me. All right, from there we go over to the euro. Let's see what the euro looks like this morning. It did go into a sell again last week. Just as you think it's going to get off its back, and they seem to have resolved their issues in Europe, we find ourselves in the same situation again, which is odd. You can see there's the euro. It's moving down. You can see on J4X, you see the white line heading down. Let's put it up over here. Right there. There we are. And you see it's heading back down to the bottom end of the range. We've been in the daily sell since here, but it really is not dropping that hard. And we've been in that long weekly sell since here. So, markets were picking up the invasion thing going on, weeks before they actually happened. I heard Mr. Biden say something odd. I think he threatened Russia yesterday. And then, again, I remember last week I always tell you how he says something in public, and then the White House has to walk it back, which we've never seen in American politics before. So in other words, we always see a president. If a president says the sky is orange, the sky is orange. And the White House doesn't walk it back and say, "Oh no, he meant blue." They're always doing that for Mr. Biden. I heard that he actually suggested that he called him the butcher of Moscow, Mr. Putin, and he needs to be removed. And within like an hour, the White House was saying he didn't really mean removed, and the United States has no interest in removing him. I mean, I've never seen a presidency like this. This is the weirdest presidency I've ever seen. And so that's where we are at the moment. All right, now from there, we'll take a look at the British pound. Right there. You can see it moving down also. And let's put it up over here. Where's that mouse at? There it is. Let's just resync that like that. There we are. I forget what we're using that white line for, but we'll park it right there. So you see it went into the buy here. We went into the sell on Friday. Right there on Chicago Quants. And then over on J4X, you can see we have 3 days of red. Where's the dots at? Let's refix those dots so we can see them on our system. Let's see which mouse is, which keyboard is. That's there, right? Yeah, so that's it, right there. So is that 3? Or is it here? No, that's not it. It's there. 3. Okay. Oh, I need to fix the screen again. Let's do that again. And scaling, that's what it was. Make it to the screen. There we go. And then, where's the green ones? Screen. There we are. So you can see there, we have a unchanged right there. And we have 2 red dots right there. And you can see over on Chicago, on the J4X, it started a day earlier even. We had a red hinky right there on Thursday. And then and the white line, it had gone into a sell somewhere around here. And then it, kind of still lifted, and then now it's joining in. So you can see there the pressure is on the cable just the same way. It's finding a way to slide back down, and it's underneath the channel again. So we have 2 of these situations going on there where it's underneath the channel at this point. There's pressure on the cable. I keep on hoping. I wake up every morning hoping that they have some type of resolution with the Ukraine situation. Kind of want it done and over with. It's tough enough trading the markets as it is, and we don't need this war stuff going on. It's like, and it's so 20th century, isn't it? Time to get over some of this stuff. Time to get rid of have the dictators go on vacation. It'd be cheaper to just give them a bunch of money and send them on their way. It's like, go away. My sons keep on talking about Mars. They keep on saying, yeah, we're going to open up Mars and get away from all these crazy dictators here. I doubt it, but, that's what their hope is. So, let's see, what else we got going on? I think I'm going to have a sip of tea. Okay. So, from there, we go over to the Turkish Lira. I'm going to throw... let's take a look at the dollar Turkish Lira there first. There it is right there. Really trapped in that sideways action. Hasn't been able to come out of it. See how it looks on Chicago Quant. Right there. So you can see the pressures on it. Looking at it on J4X, lots of pressure on it. We even had a red hinky. Over here on Chicago Quant, you can see we have no dots, and it's just riding the big rectangle right on the top of it, right there, just riding on it. Now let's check out the Euro Turkish Lira. Right there. 2 days in red. Let's get it up on here too. Yeah, we got 4 days of red here on the J4X. I'm sorry, no, the Chicago Quant. And you can see here we've been in a daily sell now for 4 days. Same situation here. Went into the sell. I'm assuming right there, just right, and then we've gone 3 out of 4. We've got it pretty close. It's doing a pretty good job, J4X, keeping up with the Chicago Quant. It's only like an hour and a half delayed behind when it comes to the actual indicator, but then compared to this is a leading indicator as far as I'm concerned, compared to like a MACD could be almost like half a day behind. Moving averages could be a half a day moving behind, but when you look at Chicago Quant, or the J4X, and looking at the way we've set up the fast and slow moving stochastics and the hinky ASCII bars, it gives a good flavor of Chicago Quant's analysis. It's just kind of a little lagging at times, that's all. But then that's, it's a public indicator. That's a fantastic thing. It's not a negative thing, trust me. It's not negative, it's positive. Because imagine if you didn't have Doc. Then at least you would have J4X. All right, from there, what else can we say? Oh, I guess we should expand that rectangle. That's what it really comes down to, is expanding the rectangle for another week or two out further, like so. There it is. And it seems to be honoring it very well. And, you just have to, it's President Aragon. He's doing a couple things. He's negotiating with the Ruskies for Ukrainers. And at the same time, he's come up with a way to stabilize his currency, and maybe their economy is growing. I'm sure we'll see a lot of positive. I mean, their inflation is at some of the highest inflation they've ever had. And I'm sure we will see it start to recede. I don't think it's going to sit up high like this for long. But as you can see, they found a way to stabilize their currency. And that is a reason why you have a domestic inflation, is the currency. We're here in the States, mainly our excuse is just policy. I mean, nothing more than that. We were producing 13.5 million barrels a day. Now we're producing 11.5 million barrels a day. Things like that. I mean, our administration is against fossil fuels and life in general. They're like some type of they're some type of environmentalists that think that we're destroying the earth or something like that. I don't know, something crazy. And they just refuse to accept any math or science. They just keep on rolling. That's all they do. So, I was thinking, I was laughing to myself. Pluto has lost a third of its atmosphere now in the last 3.5 years. So are we blaming SUVs for messing up with Pluto's atmosphere, or was it Neptune's winds have shifted from like 500-600 miles in one direction to 506 miles in another direction, totally the opposite. Same situation in Jupiter and Saturn. Enormous weather effects. I mean, enormous. Winds have doubled. So the SUVs on Earth have an effect on all those things. You would think that the SUV could fly to the moon and back in a half hour or 10 minutes with the way these environmentalists talk. So you really just got to wonder. Anyhow, that is my cosmological point of view of it all. From there, we go over to Canada, playing to that theme of energy. Canada is usually is a good example. See all that long slide down there with the Canadian against the dollar. That's usually a sign that oil is up in value. So let's just see if we can find it. Let's see, where is it at? Right there. Nope, that's not it. Let's go like this. We go like that. We're going to put oil up there so you can see the Canadian on the screen, and crude oil. There we are. And there's crude oil. And you can see, obviously, it's been flying up. It's been flying up. You know, I mean, they had the nice little sell-offs. This, I guess, the sell-off was, oh, good, we're not having a nuclear war. That's probably what that one was right there. Because that's when the bozos came out somewhere around in here saying, well, you know, we feel threatened. You know, we're going to, you know, we're a nuclear power. I thought the French Prime Minister really responded back very nicely to it, like, so are we. So are we. So you think you're going to fire yours, but we're not going to fire ours? I mean, honestly, sometimes you just got to wonder, wouldn't it be just cheaper to give all these cuckoo birds that are in leadership in these countries to just give them a pile of money and say, go away? And then their economies could get back to normal. And, you know, people could have, well, not normal. Maybe they've never been normal. But their economies could become like our economy here in the States, and people could be free, or it'd be like the Polish economy, or partially the European overall economy, or like Hungary's economy, or Slovakia's economy, who follow more free markets, free people attitude. I mean, that's really where it's at this point in time. And so it's really hard to believe that these people are in power. I mean, like I said earlier, Putin's they're telling us that he's worth over $200 billion ever since that hack in the Panamanian banking system. So why is the guy acting like as if he doesn't have a dime in his pocket? You know, why he needs to conquer the world. He's already got $200 billion. Does he really need any more than $200 billion? You know, really think about that, huh? Crazy, huh? Another sip of tea here. So, you know, you see here the CAD moving down. You see the oil. Let's widen that a little bit more for you. See the oil, you know, moving up. That's the way it's supposed to do with CAD. Now, in many ways, this looks like an A, B, and maybe we'll get a C. But at the same time, since oil has gone so high, you would think that Canadian could find its way back down into the 120s or something like that, 122s. Let's just tighten it up. When's the last time we've been down here? What is that? That is January. Okay. So before all the hoopla started, you know, they drove it down into this area. Maybe I guess they'll go test this bottom again. Now, let's just take a look at it on the Chicago Quant. I guess we didn't Fibonacci that. Oh, no, we haven't put it up there. That's why. Okay. I was going to say, I thought we Fibonacci'd that. There it is. So we're playing with the 50 percentile there. See that? Of the range, we're falling back down to the 50 percentile, which seems to be the place it stalls out. Would love to see it even drop further. But at the same time, love to see oil recede. I would think that it would advance like that just solely because, you know, there's $100 oil, right? I mean, where's it at now? Oil is. Just go back to that. Let's do this. Let's take a look on J4X. Let's see where Brent is at the moment. And there's Brent, 115. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking about some high flying prices there. Let's see, Canadian. So what we do is now we'll take a look at gold, which when I last saw it this morning, it was heading down. You see there's weakness there too. And let's see what we got over here. There we are. And there is the gold. Not there. Let's try that again. Nope. Let's move that over just a little bit like that. There we are. And lift that up like so. And let's click on the energies, and there is the gold. And you see we're on it, we're close. This morning it had pierced it. You can see the line in there. See how it was sinking down. We're bounced. Looks like, where is it? Oh, let's light that up. There we are. You see there, we're plus 32 now. We were minus this morning when we sent out the charts. So we're flirting on the edge of, we're trying to be, and I guess you could say it's like right there now. Let's move back up above the zero line. The weekly is very firm and consistent. And we saw platinum go into a weekly sell last week. So we'll keep a soft jaunt, like a soft look. We'll be watching the metals complex. I would have to assume, I heard this morning, it's all falling back on the shoulders of the war. And so, or the invasion, I guess you could call it the invasion. And so, I heard the Ukraine said we've come to agreement on 2 areas out of 6, but we are not here negotiating a surrender. So stop thinking that we're negotiating a surrender. And so, maybe we're getting warmer. You see gold pulling back. You see the stock markets in Europe really lifting up. Maybe we are. Maybe we're getting towards something positive. I would hope so. I understand that they're going to start zooming. The kids are going to zoom in to school now in Ukraine. They're going to start, trying to get some distraction so they're not focused totally on the war going on. The invasion. All right. From there, we go over to the South African Rand. So let's see what they're doing with that this morning. With gold moving down, we would assume the South African Rand might be popping up a little bit. ZAR. Where are you, ZAR? There it is. Yeah, just a little bit. Still has red dots going on. And we are still on a daily sell, and we're still in that long weekly sell. There it is on J4X. You see the little bounce going on there. Just like in Chicago Quant right there. So the pressure is finding a way to push up, not down. Now. What else have we got going on? What a quiet morning. No one's chiming in at all. All right, from there, let's see, where's next? We go over to, let's see. It's like Baltimore and and Harry Potter. We just throw the chart up. We don't even say the name of it. You see it's pushing into a daily buy. We've got a volatility signal. But this is the one that's got me curious. It's in a weekly sell now for a second full week. Now heading into a third week in a sell. So it looks like an island top to me. Come on, Vladimir. Bring your people home. All right. From there, we go over to the yen. Let's see what the yen's up to. And there's the yen. Wow. More spike. When Robin and I wrote that article, we were expecting to stall out in this area here. Look at this. They are taking it up, up, and away. I didn't, we didn't say that we thought we just thought that it could run up into the high 18s or mid 18s, that type of thing. We didn't say that it was going to stall there, but we thought that's where the first run would be. But it has not taken a break. It just keeps on marching. And that's where we are with the yen. Someone sent me an article today about Japan. One of the traders sent me over an article, and I swear it was from Bloomberg. All I can say, traders, is don't read Bloomberg. Don't even listen to Bloomberg. The only thing Bloomberg is good with is data. When it comes to their editorializing or writing an article about something, sometimes they can be so far from reality, honestly. I mean, the article was basically that Japan is irrelevant in the Pacific. And I was like, what? They have an economy that could be basically the size of China at this point. But, the fixed currency, if that currency floated, if the Chinese currency floated, their GDP would not be what it is. Their gross domestic product is fixed because their currency is fixed. Matter of fact, I talked about this last week and the week before. And now when you see here the movement up in the yen, you got to wonder, when you look at the Chinese market, you wonder where they really are, with this world inflation and so forth and oil prices. You really have to wonder. I mean, it is not, the Chinese yuan is not worth 6 to the dollar. It's probably worth like 25 to the dollar, which would take their GDP and cut it 75%. So I cannot take any of that serious at all. But, when looking at the yen here, and you can see it's trying to roll over here on J4X, and Chicago Quant is still having its issues. It's still screaming on the upside here. It doesn't seem to want to let go. Oh, put that back where there it is. It's screaming on the upside here. It's not even going to let go. At the same time, the weekly is screaming at the same time. So I'm not totally convinced. Let's get rid of that indicator that we were flirting with until Kelly gets back here, so we can get rid of that or understand it, one or the other. Bid-ask ratio. Remove. Yes, there we are. So yeah, I mean, this thing is not backing off at all, and and I would imagine the rest of the world is seeing the same thing we're seeing, and that is that there's inflation, and interest rates are rising, and I know what I was getting ready to say. It's about the energy sector, so it'll commingle. Let's do this. The Mexican peso. Let's just look at the Mexican peso. But they're in the same boat also because they're a big oil producer. So I don't know how they can. Like I saw a headline that the ruble is now backed by cryptocurrency and gold. I can't even imagine that in this world. I can't even imagine that's a reality. They may be making payments with gold, or what do you call it, Bitcoin. But backed, they would get exercised. In an arbitrage world, they would get exercised. And the same thing with China. They're talking about trading oil in yuan. How do you do that? I mean, who in their right mind is going to sell them oil in yuan without compensation? We showed you, was it 2 weeks ago? Or yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago when they started this stuff. We showed you the yuan has gone from 6.2 to 6.4 with gold, with oil moving up $40. No, not going to happen because they will exercise it And I don't know an oil producer who's going to be willing to let it out the door that way. I mean, the dollar went from, maybe 97 to 92 or something like that. I mean, but come on. There's no way in the world the yuan is only going to move a couple ticks. It's going to move it has to move like a couple handles. I mean, I just don't see it. So I can't wait to see, they're saying in May they're going to negotiate this stuff. I can't wait to see it because a physical market and real price discovery is all I ever crave. And that's what all traders crave. And so, it's like, wow, I want to see how they do a convert. I want to see that, where you go in and you buy oil, and if oil is trading at, like $110 and it goes to 90, are we going to see a yuan move the same in percentage-wise? No way. That's the key right there. Just watching the percentage of it. That'll show you how fixed it is and how unrealistic it is. So, squeaky chair needs to be fixed. All right, from there, let's jump over to, let's put it up on there too. That's the peso. Let's put the peso up on the screen here on J4X, right there. Long ride down, lots of red. You can see right here it's trying to lift up at the moment. Same thing we're seeing there. We're getting a little lift going on, but it's still in the negative. So nothing screaming. At the same time, we're in that weekly sell now since up in this area here. Right there, it started there, the weekly sell. And, we've gone up, we've gone down, and now we're down. So it's not exactly exploding in any particular direction. It's keeping that good old tight range. Now, it's a floating currency, traders. That's not fixed. So that's supply and demand, free markets, free people. All right, from there we go over to the energy sector now. And that's what we're saying. We would love to see the yuan tied to oil in some way. It would, one thing is for sure. When oil moves 40%, are we going to see the yuan move 40%? I don't think so. All right. Right there, light sweet crude. We showed you, it's moving down. We showed you over here Brent moving down, and over here, let's move that and move this up a little bit more. You see we're still in a weekly buy, lots of firmness, and what are we now? Now we're minus. That's gold. Now gold has found its way into the minus 36 from plus 36. Let's put crude up there. And you can see the crude is moving down to 107. It closed on Friday at 113.90. And right now they're trading it at 107.03.01. So what was that? 13? That's 7.90, down almost $8. And you can see here it's breaking down. And we'll see how the weekly treats it. See if it starts to stall out. Now, we go over to natural gas. There it is right there. It's been moving up, natural gas. I think that's because we're going to be supplying Europe with it. There we are. So you see here, whatever. Now they're putting some pressure on it. This morning this was higher. Still in a daily buy. Still in a weekly buy. And over on J4X, same situation, banging away at the top end of its range. That pressure is on it. They are buying it. I understand that they're fast tracking in Germany facilities to unload natural gas and store it. So, I imagine, unless Mr. Putin disappears, takes his retirement fund of $200 billion and goes away and does something, he's just hurting his energy sector. That's all he's doing in the end. Now let's check out European gas. Nope, not there. European gas. right there. And it's climbing it's gone from 22. Where is it? At the beginning of the invasion, it's going from 22 to 26 and change. Was it 26.87 there? We've seen it as high as in the 30s. It's going to be a challenge, and then this cold weather doesn't help it any. We went down to, we're like a -5 Celsius today, which is out of nowhere. I mean, we were like a +15 and 20, no more than 2 days ago. So it's been a real wild swing there. Our weather here is very dear. It's very erratic at times. Only a sophisticated society can survive here, or you get killed off. When like last night, out of nowhere, we went from sunshine and warmth to yesterday moving into winds and sunshine, and then snow. People had snow flurries. It didn't lay anything. It just said snow flurries. It's like, wow, that's so wild. So what else can we say about the energy sector? But watch out; it'll be very informative of our world economy. All right, from there we drift over to so we did natural gas, we did Brent oil, and we did light Texas sweet. Oh, listen, and the back months. Let me just show you what the back month looks like in crude oil. Right there. It's doing the same thing. It's falling down, and maybe it's going to come into. Now, the last time it sold off, it went down into the 90 area, 91 area. So we'll see if we still have about $13. Oh, what happened? Was there Oscars last night or something? Something was going on. And Will Smith is crying? It was Oscars last night, huh? Okay. Wow, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? I just see that up on the Financial channel. Wow. Okay. All right. Now, from the energies, let's go over to the metals complex and see what gold is doing. As I said, we saw it swing from a plus to a minus here again. And there's gold. You can see it's minus 132 now when it comes to our indicator, the Chicago Quant indicator itself. So it's breaking down again. It's showing that it's trying to get into a sell, but we got that long buy going on. I guess, we need something positive on the world stage. Let's take a look at silver. Right there. And let's put it up over here. And silver doing the same exact thing, falling down through the zero line. Pressure's on, red dot, the whole bit. Same thing going on here on J4X. The pressure's on, the line is moving. Whoop. Where are you? There it is. And the line is moving down. And I understand Kelly's indicator over here. We'll have to, like I said, we'll wait for him to show up, and we'll get rid of that after, or use it, one or the other, after he explains it. So you can see here, I don't know if they're going to go out. I thought that 24.55 is a real strong support. So we'll watch and see how they treat it this time around. But if they start banging against that and then they bounce up and then fail again, maybe that's a sign that the Ukraine invasion is over with, and the Ukraine people can go back to normal life. So, Let's see. Right. Let's take a look at copper. Copper went into a sell a couple days ago. You see that right there. You see right there. But that weekly has been dragging on since the end of December. It doesn't seem to let go. Right there. There's copper. And you can see it's rolled over just 2 days in red. And the pressure is on. It doesn't seem to be letting anything change it. It's holding on to the sell side of things. Now, again, as I was talking with Robin about this earlier today, as much as we see weakness in a day-to-day situation, a lot of these weeklies don't want to give up. In other words, long-term money is taking profits, but be it currency pairs or, commodities or stock indices, we're seeing the same rhythm in every direction from, the Forex to gold and silver to oils and so forth. The weeklies are not falling out of weekly signals. So obviously long-term money, longer-term money, not just intraday to day, but week to week, which builds the month to month, is not letting go. Obviously they're concerned, and so I think what we're seeing is just some profit taking, but not enough to affect the weekly, which is very impressive. All right, and let's take a look at the platinum and see what they're up to this morning. Right there. Still moving down. A little bounce-ish thing going on there with the... let's get rid of that. I thought I put a line in there. There we go. And let's save that. We're going to be changing that contract soon anyway. But that led us up, and maybe it'll lead us down. Went into the weekly buy, just like gold, about a week ahead of time. And it's just been, holding its firmness. And not, it tried once to deviate right there, but then it automatically just took off. So, and that does look like an A, B, and we're working on the C. Maybe they're going to, I don't know if they're going to go back to the nines, not 900 or 875, but it sure does have that look to it, like it wants to do that. All right, that completes the energies and the metals complex. So, anybody want to see anything? No one's said anything. They are as tired as I am from the hard-working weekend. Let's go over to the stock indices. See what's going on with the Nasdaq 100, which you can see is just by the hair of its chinny chin, just a little plus. See, it's all green there. And it's been in a daily buy now for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the 9th day, and it's going on a 3rd week now in a weekly buy. You see, it's not piercing the zero line whatsoever, and the weekly is same way, holding up very firm with a couple weeks in a buy. 3 weeks now. Today's the 3rd week starting. Now, from there, we drift over. Oh, let's just show you to you on a very short-term basis, too. And let's put it up over here, too, on J4X. There it is right there, the Tech 100. It's holding up really well. Tried to correct and has turned up again. Now let's jump over to the S&P 500 right there. Right there. There we are. Same situation. It's trying but is failing. So I don't know. I want to be optimistic and say, this is showing us signs that the invasion is going to close down soon. It's like a movie. Time for it to be closed and moving a new movie. Oh, where's the lines over here? There we are. Just holding on firm. Doesn't seem to want to let go. Same thing on Chicago Quant. Looking very firm. Curving a little bit on the green line on Chicago Quant, but I mean, it's not piercing the time manifold. The time manifold's like flatlined in many ways. Let's see, what's next? Let's look at the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is what it is, the grand lady of them all. Right there. It's trying to turn up. It went into a sell 3 days ago and came right back into it the following day. And so, you know, we were on the third day. This is the second day on this. Going on the second day on its buy, and the weekly is holding up. You know, it's curving, but not breaking. And that's the way I see the whole market at this point. These weeklies are telling us there's no, the weeklies are saying to us we're steady. You know, we're not, we're going up, we go down, we correct, but we're not running away from this area. It keeps on screaming at us, not going anywhere. We're staying here. And so obviously, the buyers are, nibbling away. They're seeing it as, look, there's so much capital out there. There's so much cash. They've got to do something with it. That's what they're paid to do. It's like they're paid to go and buy and invest. And so because of that alone, they have to, step up. Someone has to buy. And they do. And who knows, with the way the Federal Reserve is, remember, the quantitative easing, the concept of quantitative easing is stability. And so what they don't want is instability. In other words, they don't want the stock market down 30 or 40 or 50%. They want it down, 3, 4, 5%, 10%, maybe 15%. But they don't want to see anything dramatic. So they're going to do what it takes to keep everything floating the way they are now. And if they could have kept oil stable at at 40 or 70 or $60, they would have. But they can't. They can't do that because people use too much of it every day. And so, whereas, when it comes to stocks, they can, it's so cheaper to just buy them and park them and hide them. The Federal Reserve could have a whole portfolio of stocks. We know that they control a lot of Citibank, and we know they probably own, like Lloyd's of London and so forth. They probably helped out all the little central banks around the world. They are the world reserve currency. That's another thing. If China even remotely had the ability to become a world reserve currency, would they be as lenient? I doubt it. They would use it for malicious reasons, as far as I can tell. All right. From there, let's take a look at the Russell. The Russell is like taking over what the Nasdaq used to be, and that is a group of speculative stocks. And there it is right there. Oh, that's March. We haven't looked at it since March. Oh, yeah, we're in March. That's right. So, yeah, you can see that. It's starting to flatline. So, last 2 days. Let's switch contracts and see what they're doing with that. Oh, wait a minute. NKDH. Yeah, that's the... Isn't that the Russell? Let's just double check. We used to have it written on there somewhere. No, that's the Nikkei. Okay. Where's it at? That's the Nikkei. There's the Russell. And the Russell's doing the same thing. It's flatline. That's what? Let's reload that. The Russell has taken the place of the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq used to be a place where low capitalized companies were. They grew. You could have bought Apple computers for 2 cents or something like that. The same thing with Microsoft. Now, why is that not filling in? It seems to be stalled out there. Let's see if we can find another contract. Maybe they've ended it. Maybe they're starting to end it on the. Oh, of course. Of course, it died out under the what do you call it, the triple witching last week. That makes sense. Anyway, I like looking at the Russell for that specific reason. Oh, it looks like we have to add. Okay. And that would be April now. So J, right? Oh no, I guess it's in the same situation. They don't go to month to month to month. Okay. That's Bitcoin I'm thinking of. So we would be going to M is June. So let's go to the June contract and see how that looks. Right there. There we are. Let's see what they do with that. There we go. Now, like I said, the only reason we look at that is that the low caps, in many times, with low caps, they can be a leader. They can tell us when something's brewing. Money comes in other words, it's the most speculative money. That's what's so fascinating about this particular index more than anything else. And that's the way the Nasdaq 100 or the Tech 100 used to be. But now those companies have grown into becoming, important everyday staples to world society, from Amazon to Google to Apple Computer to Microsoft to Intel to Tesla to some of the biotechs in there like Amgen and so forth. They've become staples. So you can see here, it's trying to lift up. Went into a, well, no, it didn't go into sell. I guess it went into, no, so yeah, so it went into the buy right there, and still in the buy. It's been in a weekly buy for a couple of weeks now. This is the fourth week. See, speculative money came in ahead of S&Ps. When we go back to look at S&Ps, and there's S&Ps, it's only 3 now weeks starting, and same thing with NQs, 3 weeks, and Dow Jones Industrial Average. Where's that? Right there. 3 weeks, but for the most speculative stocks, the lowest capitalized companies, let's find it again now. Right there, they started in there 4 weeks back, right there, and that's why we pay attention to that particular index. So, all right, that's about it. It's been a quiet Monday. I feel just as tired as everybody else. So if it wasn't the invigoration of the markets themselves, I'd be kind of like, I'll roll over and go back to sleep. Anyhow, this is Doc from North America. Catch you all tomorrow, same time. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you later.